That's ultimately what they're saying. All the other stuff is just surface level crap that they tell you because they don't want to hurt your feelings. They got my name wrong, right? They didn't call me the right name, didn't have the right company name or the right personal name. Like, they kind of, I don't know what they did, but they didn't get it right. My initial, like, I don't want to feel like this, but my initial instinct is like, this person doesn't care. Like, this person didn't take 2 seconds, literally 2 seconds. Go on Facebook and stick my name in and find out what the company name is and get it right. Like, thank you. Episode number 2 together.
Yeah, episode number 2. It's a bit different this time because we're talking about sponsorship, obviously. For those of you who listened to the first episode of the podcast, or the motocross podcast, Andrew came on and spoke about motocross strength and conditioning. But yeah, before we get stuck in this one, maybe just for those people who didn't listen to that or don't know what you do, just tell us what your business is about and what you do as well.
Cool. So I have my own company or business driven athlete training. And what we do is work with riders and racers to help them get race fit. So I've been in strength and conditioning for about 10 years, and probably the last 5-6 years has just been just riders and racers.
Yeah, cool. And I really want to get Andrew on for this episode just because he has had his fair share of sponsorship experiences from a business owner's perspective in the industry. So he did let me know of some stories beforehand just so that I could put them in the show notes. And
we did have a few stories.
Yeah, got a few stories, and that we don't go off track, so we could stick to the plan.
Cool.
So, but the main thing that I wanted to get out of this is not to so much showcase or bash the way that people have gone about sponsorship, but more so that if you're making similar mistakes, that it's maybe a wake-up call and even a bit of education for you on a different way of how you can go about sponsorship, really. So, I'm really excited to dig into your stories, mate.
Awesome. Sweet.
Well, I want to start off, and I didn't ask you this before anyway, but what was your first sponsorship experience?
Someone sponsoring me or someone?
No, sorry, yeah, as a business.
As a business owner, that's a good question. I think when I first started, I got a few different inquiries. I can't remember the first one that I got. I'm trying to think back to what would have been my first experience. I did have a lot of riders and racers. I used to get messages on Facebook was where I first, so thinking back now, when I first started, I used to do a lot of content on Facebook and still do. And so by doing that and helping people, obviously people know that I'm helping riders and racers and that we work with them, and this is what I do for a living. So obviously I get paid to be able to help people to get race ready. And I would get people that would message me on Facebook, or people that would go on my website then did blog posts and all that sort of stuff. And people would send me messages or fill out the message inquiry form and be like, hey Andrew, thanks for all the great content. I'm looking at racing this season and need to get some more support. Can you help me? Are you open to sponsorship, or what can you do? And they kind of didn't really, more coming to me going, hey, Andrew, what can you give me? Rather than, hey Andrew, here's how I can help you.
And you've had a lot of, I guess the way that you've been approached they've all been really similar in that way, haven't they? That they haven't, they've just gone in for the kill and basically just gone for what can benefit them, really.
Yeah, so like we talked about before we started the podcast, it's like people, I don't think I've had over the whole time I've been coaching, and more so since I've been in business, the last 5-6 years coaching, and that's all I've been doing, is I don't think I've had one decent proposal or one decent person that has come to me, right, that I've gone, hey, like I like the way this person's approached things or gone about it. It's always been, me making the first move if I wanted to help someone, and I've chosen to do that. Or majority of them have been just people that are ask, take, like I'm the National Bank, like giving out free stimulus packages, like, and yeah, that's what's been the experience.
That's been, so yeah, it hasn't been very good so far. Yeah, and well, yeah, you already answered it there because about never being sent a proposal or resume, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because I really push for that because it's like I don't know, I always see that as your foot in the door. Like if you were to send a proposal that was really professional, told the sponsor what they were going to get, what you were going to, like you as a writer, what you're going to do to help them, and then also what you want in return, and you're very clear about it, I feel like you're going to get a response at least, and not just deleted, your email deleted or your proposal deleted, really.
Yeah, and I think people can see the effort. Like even like there's all the things like not minor things, but like little tweaks and changes you can make to how you do a proposal and how you set it up and graphic design and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, majority of people aren't even sending out like an A4 piece of paper that's done on Microsoft Word that they've typed up at home. Most people aren't even doing that. Yeah. They just ask, like they're getting on Facebook and just typing to anyone asking for whatever they can get. So I think even if you do have a proposal, even if it's not the best one, just doing that, you're already putting yourself miles ahead of everyone else, because out of all the people that I've had come to me, I've never had one proposal that's come through. So just by having a proposal, you automatically separate yourself from everyone else. And then if you can make advancements or improvements on what you're already doing, on having a proposal, sorry, move the microphone a bit closer, or end up on the floor soon. So if you can just, first of all, get a proposal, have a base level of what you want to do or how you're going to approach someone, then you can refine that and make it better. But most people don't even do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd still recommend trying to get a professional proposal done rather than the Microsoft Word. I always use that as an example. Don't use a Microsoft Word document. Yeah. But I've always recommended people to use like, if you can't afford to pay someone to do it professionally, that you can use like a program like Canva. I know you've used it for some of your design stuff as well, which you've got like thousands of templates that look, pretty good. Way better than Microsoft Word, and it's completely free. So it's not really that hard to do. It just takes a little bit of time of figuring it out and just putting in the effort, like you said. Like, and how does that like come across to you? As like, if someone has clearly put in the effort, maybe they're not the best racer, they don't have the results, but they put in a lot of effort, and maybe you go onto their social media accounts and you can see that they're posting and they're really trying to build their profile and deliver you something pretty good. Like, how do you perceive that? Like, do you look at their race results? Is that
yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't think that, for me personally, and I think for a lot of people, I think I can speak for a lot of other businesses as well, the results aren't that important. Like, unless you're a world champion trying to get sponsorship from Red Bull or one of the big manufacturers, the results aren't that important. It's how you reflect the business that you're representing. So like, for me, if I'm helping someone or supporting someone, they're representing my brand and all of the hard work that I've done. So if you have a sponsor and it's a plumbing company and it's got nothing to do really with racing, you need to be able to represent that plumbing company as if it's your plumbing company. Like, don't go out and get smashed on the weekend and post up silly stuff on Facebook and then go racing. Don't post you riding around doing wheelies on the bitumen with no helmet on. Like, I've seen heaps of that stuff. Don't do dumb shit. Don't do stupid stuff. Don't post up stupid stuff that makes you look like a knob, because people aren't going to want to support that. Because if you've got a plumbing company and the plumbing company is sponsoring you and you're posting pictures of you doing wheelies down the road in the nude, like that reflects the plumbing company. People look at the plumbing company and go, shit, like this plumbing company's paying money to this bloke to be a knob and post all this stuff on Facebook. So your actions, whether you like it or not, are reflecting the people that are sponsoring and supporting you. So if you want people to support you, be a good person. If you don't want people to support you or want to lose your sponsors, then go and do dumb shit and I'm sure you'll get rid of them.
Yeah. One of the first things I always tell people to do actually is go through your social media account and delete anything that's going to damage your chances of getting a sponsorship. Because like, imagine if someone did send you through a really good proposal and you're like, shit, this is looking pretty good, I'm going to look deeper into it. And you go into their social media account and there's them sticking the finger up with like a can of VB and
that's right,
looking like an absolute flog.
Yeah.
You know, like you're instantly going to be like, oh, no, it's probably not worth my time now.
Yeah, that's right. So, and especially if they're saying one, like if you get when you're sponsoring someone, you're supporting them to move towards a goal or to move towards something. They're not just giving you money or supporting you just because they feel like it. It's because you're working towards something, or they can see that you're putting the effort in. That's what they're supporting, the effort. They're not so much supporting just you. They're supporting the effort that you're putting in to get to where you want to go, whether that's C grade, B grade, A grade, doing your first race. And so, yeah, I got a topic what we were...
Well, before that, and what I think my two questions before was, like if someone is putting in the effort, they don't have good race results, but you can tell they've really put in a big effort with their proposal.
Yeah.
And you said like you go to their social media accounts, maybe even have a website as well. I guess what sort of impression does that leave on you, and I guess how compelled are you to look into helping them out?
Yeah, so that's what I was getting to. There has to be congruency between the sponsorship that you're asking for and what you're saying is going to happen and what you're actually doing. Because lots of people talk one way and say one thing, but then their actions say a completely different thing. So if you give in a sponsorship proposal to a bike shop and say, hey, I put all my money and my life on the line to go and race. My ultimate goal is to be able to go and race professionally. At the moment, I'm in B grade, but I want to go and race professionally. I put every dollar that I have into racing, and I make sure that I train hard and I do all of the right things, and that's why you're looking for support. Ultimately, that's what you want the support for, because you need that to get to that next level. If you say that and you put that in your proposal and that's what you're putting across to them and that's what they're signing up for, but then at the same time you've got pictures of you going clubbing and you're more interested in the after party after the MX Nationals than you are about the actual MX Nationals themselves, then that's going to be a problem because they're not congruent. They're not working with each other. So your social media it's not about creating a fake person. It's about making sure that your behavior is representing what you want to achieve, what you want to be able to get, the person that you want to become, the rider that you want to become. All those companies that you're trying to get support from or that you would like to help you or be behind you, you're reflecting them. Like you're part of that brand. It's like you're part of that business. And you have to be able to represent them. If you're going off and doing dumb shit and it's counterproductive, then if a plumbing company's, for example, don't know why I'm saying plumbing a lot, but
maybe it has to do with my background.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. But if you're getting support from a plumbing company, and the plumbing company goes, hey, you know what? I'm going to pay for all your entry fees for the state round for this season. Awesome, right? They're supporting you. They're getting behind you. If the old mate from plumbing sees on social media that you're going out partying every weekend, okay, or that you're smoking, or that you're doing dumb stuff on the bike, and then posting it and trying to get attention from it, then he's thinking about that going, shit, like I'm paying for all your state round fees because you told me you needed all this help. And I'm trying to help you and support you and get behind you because I feel like I'm doing the right thing. But your social media and your presence, your actual behavior is completely different to what you've told me. And so in that way, behavior is, the words are easy. It's easy to promise the world. You have to deliver the world. That's the hard bit, and that's what you actually have to live and breathe is the delivering part, not everyone can talk a big game and pump up their resume and do all that sort of stuff. But that's only the start.
That's why I always say to people as well, because I think nowadays offering social media posts for specifically for your sponsors, that's a given as part of your package. But if you're offering that and you're not even posting anything on your social media account, how is that company going to have any confidence in you that you're going to do that for them? Like if you're already doing it, you're posting 3 times a week, they're going to say, all right, well, he's already doing it. There's going to be no dramas here. I've got complete confidence in him delivering on the 4 or 5 posts he's guaranteed us per month about our business.
Yeah.
So that's why I always encourage people to to get into those sort of habits and those routines of posting regularly and making making your actions match the words that you're saying to these sponsors.
Yeah,
really.
That's right. I think it's easy to say, when you're trying to get help and support, it's easy to just say whatever you can to try and get them across the line or to try and get their support. But the truth is, as hard as that is to get someone to help you, that's only the start of the work. Getting your foot in the door and them going, hey, you know what, we're going to support you, that's when the real work starts. You might have thought it was hard to get a sponsor in the first place. The real work starts when you get that sponsor. Because now you've got to keep them. Now you've got to deliver on all of the things that you said. And then you've got to over-deliver, give more value than what you promised so that you can keep them. So they want to keep coming back and supporting you. And that's one of the things I see on social. And I follow, obviously, a lot of your stuff, especially on sponsorship. And I see people's comments. And people go in there and whinge about, sponsors don't want to stay long term, or no one wants to support me, or all of this shit. It's well, it's not the sponsor's fault, it's your fault. Like, you're not delivering enough value. That's it. They're plain and simple. If you were delivering enough value, the sponsor would want to stay with you and they would stay with you for years, like they do with some teams and some companies. If they're not staying with you, or you get them and then they disappear, it's because you're not looking after them. It's got nothing to do with them and the company and the business and their finances or anything like that. It's got everything to do with the amount of value that you deliver. So it's about taking responsibility as well and going, hey, like, what am I doing wrong? All right, I've had 5 sponsors and 5 sponsors left me. Why did 5 sponsors leave? It's got nothing to do with COVID-19. It's got nothing to do with, well, it depends when you're watching this video, the video. It's got nothing to do with the economy. It's got nothing to do with their finances. It's got nothing to do with their budget. It's got nothing to do with them restructuring their business. If you were valuable, they would keep you.
Yeah, exactly. If you're making them money back, if you're what they're investing in you, and they're getting a return on that investment, then it would be silly for them. They wouldn't even consider it really, unless you did something dumb.
Exactly right. Like, if you're a bike shop and you're someone who has good social media, do all the things that you've been talking about, like presenting well, doing the right things, doing all of those things, and you're referring people to a bike shop, and they sell an extra bike or an extra 2 bikes a year because you keep referring people. People go in there and buy their gear, or people go in there and then bring their mates with them and buy a new helmet or a new set of boots. When things are tough, they want more of you. Like, they want to support more people like you because you're helping to build their business and bring people back. So when things are tough, they're going, shit, like if they're sponsoring me, Andrew, they're going, I need more Andrews. Like, give Andrew more money, help him more, support him more, so we can get more people in this shop and keep this thing going. They're not going, oh, shit, we're running out of money, let's cut Andrew off. Yeah. Like, they're going to want to support you. And that's what businesses ultimately look at, is it's got nothing to do with the budget, it's got nothing to do with the money. The reason they tell you that is because they don't want to hurt your feelings. Really what they're saying when they say, we don't have enough money to do it, or we don't have enough time to do it, we don't have this, we don't have that, really what they're saying is, what you're providing is not valuable enough for us to continue with this. That's ultimately what they're saying. All the other stuff is just surface level crap that they tell you because they don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. It all really, it just comes down to delivering value. I push that so hard as well. And I guess what do you, because I always say this as well, is that value is subjective. Like, what one company sees as valuable is different to the next. They all have different objectives and they all have different ways they go about things. I guess for your business, what do you see as valuable? Is it people I guess raising more brand awareness about you, or is it people giving you referrals?
That's a good question. So all businesses, value, like you said, value is different for everyone. Value is not always monetary. Value is not always plaster your logo over the bike. It's different for everyone. For me personally, value is, if the work that we've done has been really good, refer someone else to us so that I can help them as well and give them the same level of coaching and help and support and results that you got to be able to give to someone else. Ultimately, that makes me happy because I like helping people. It makes it easy for me. I don't have to do extra marketing and extra stuff. I've got someone that already knows what we do, the results that we get, and they're confident in what we're doing. So ultimately, that's the best form of value for me. But there's other forms of value that I see that people do, which is the common one, which is put your name in the program and put a sticker on your bike. It's like, no one gives a fuck about your sticker on your bike or the name in the program with the 20,000 other sponsors that are in the program. Like, how many times, like for everyone listening, how many times have you gone in the program and gone, oh shit, I wonder what I'm going to buy today? And opened up your program and scrolled through all the sponsors and read through them all.
Riders.
Yeah, exactly right. About 200 riders. Got your phone out, gone into Google and Googled every single name that you've seen in that sponsor list there. And then gone, oh shit, I'm going to go on their website and I'm going to buy this stuff just to support business or just to support the sponsors. No one. Likewise, how many times have you seen a sticker on someone's bike and then Googled that and then gone, oh yeah, I'm going to sign up for that thing? Probably not much. Yeah. How many times have you been at the track and heard the commentator commentating and gone, oh, that sounds like a good idea. You know what? I'll pull my phone out and I'll buy that right now.
and just to add to that as well, because I say that stuff's just considered as a bonus. But I also think, how many times have you been to a bike shop or something, and then you probably see this more from, or no, not even a bike shop, but you go to the racetrack and there's a rider that you've had a good experience with. They were really nice to you. They did something for you, and maybe they're sponsored by someone, and you just like that can be that can make a really strong impression on someone to buy something. And but yeah, more so like if because I always say that you've got to make yourself available for engagements at like the bike shop or or functions and that sort of thing. It's like and I always think of it as when you're younger as well. You go in and you see maybe a bigger name rider or something like that, and you go through the shop and you get their autograph, and maybe they're really nice, and you're like, oh man, I want to get that. I want to get that Fox gear he's wearing, or whatever. But it still applies to local level riders. You know what I mean? Like, there's still a young kid that is looking up to a B grader in seniors, and because he's at the shop at this shop on a Saturday with his bike there, possibly signing autographs and posters if he's got them. Like that's just another way that you can provide value as well is by committing yourself to being engaged with the people, with the businesses and their customers as well.
Yeah, and I think with that, to build on that, people think they're not good enough to be able to do that. They think they have to be a world champion for it to be okay for you to put up a social post or to do a post and say, hey, this is the race I did on the weekend and this is how I went, or these are some of the people that support me. And the funny thing is with that, and it's something that I've learnt since more so with weight training, right? So everyone who's below you, you automatically, that you're better than, okay? So in other words, like if you're in B grade, everyone who's in C grade, you're like, oh, okay, they're C graders. Like they don't really care about me because they're C graders. And then you automatically think that, okay, the next people up from me are A graders, right? So you see yourself in the middle. What people don't realize though is all those people that are below you, or and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just mean that maybe they haven't been racing as long. Maybe they don't have the skills that you do. Maybe they just started riding, whatever it is. Those people are looking up to you because you're always looking up to those people who are in front of you or who's next. So when you're a B grader, you idolize the A graders. You want to be an A grader. You don't want to be a B grader. You want to be an A grader. The C graders have that same mentality. The C graders aren't worried about the guys that are below them, the guys that aren't racing. They're going, hey, like these B graders are cool. So when a B grader goes and chats to a C grader and just acknowledges him or says hello or says good race or great start or nice gear or something, little comment like that, it goes a long way. But I feel that a lot of people think they have to be a world champion for them to be able to have that type of attitude, not realizing that just people that you're a little bit further ahead than, you can make a big difference for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we did have these stories, so we can go off track, but we're about 20 minutes or so in and we haven't even got to them.
We've just done the intro.
One of the experiences that you had, and this is, I can't believe this one as well, was where they came to you and they used the wrong name.
Yes.
I think that's a clear example of copying and pasting your opening email to someone and just quickly just doing it, whacking in the names, and they haven't paid attention, they haven't done any research. They just probably found your email address and couldn't even be bothered to tell what your business name was.
Exactly. So that was from that I got from a club, and so lots of clubs send out templated emails, which is
and just before you get into it as well, any way you go about sponsorship. If you're a club trying to get sponsorship, you're a rider trying to get sponsorship, you're a website trying to get sponsorship, it's all the same.
Exactly.
It's all the same approach. It's all, you're speaking to the same people. It's all the same.
100%. And so what happens with, for this one particular example, is they got my name wrong, right? They didn't call me the right name, didn't have the right company name or the right personal name. Like they I don't know what they did, but they didn't get it right. And so as soon as I see that, I'm like, my initial, I don't want to feel like this, but my initial instinct is like, this person doesn't care. Like, this person didn't take 2 seconds, literally 2 seconds. Go on Facebook and stick my name in and find out what the company name is and get it right. Like, Driven Athlete Training, get the words right. Like, you know what I mean? Or Andrew Hammer, whatever it is. It takes 2 seconds. Do your research. If it's that important for you and you think I'm going to help you or you want help from me, you'll take the extra 2 seconds to go and find out. But I feel like some people treat it more as a quantity over quality, and they come up with this proposal or whack a few words together, it sounds great, and then they just copy and paste everyone's names in. And not saying that there's anything wrong with having a template for the way that you do things or copy and pasting. You can copy and paste, but still do your research to make it personable. Like, get their name right. That's one thing. Put something in there, put a few points in there that makes it more personal so that I know, oh, this person's followed my stuff. They know who I am, not just they're sending me an email because they're trying to get something out of me, because that's how it feels like they're trying to manipulate you or they're just trying to take. It's all about what's in it for the person on the other end. It's like, I'm a human being as well. And I think that's the other thing is when you're sending these emails or proposals, you're talking to a person. Like, they're a human being as well. They're just like you. They can sense when an email's been templated and it's not personalized and you haven't done your research. So you have to remember that when you're going to companies, yes, it might be a company, but you're not dealing with a company. You're dealing with a person at that company. And they're exactly like you. Like, they want to communicate the same way. They want to be spoken to the same way. They're not a robot. You're not talking to a mass organization. You're talking to one person. And so when you communicate, you need to keep that in mind, that you're talking to one person, not a whole group of people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And yeah, like you said, like you can still have like a template for your email address, but you got to personalize it for each person you're sending it to. Like, you can have I guess like a base sort of formula of how you go about it. And
so how do you do it then in your, like, for everyone listening, like what's a rough layout, or how do you map it out? How do they have a template? How do they individualize it without going over the top at the same time?
Yeah. So I usually do, so, hey, the person's name that from the company, like the decision maker, that's there. And then I'll usually start with a personal comment. So it's either about something the brand's doing, or if I found the person on social media and they've done something, or something on there that's noticeable to me. Maybe they ride mountain bikes and I ride mountain bikes. That's something we can bond with. So maybe they just got a new bike or they rode some trails. So might make a comment. I'll be like, reference their new mountain bike, or maybe they just became a parent or something like that, and saying, "Oh, congratulations!"
So something completely unrelated that helps to build a bit of trust or rapport with them.
Yeah. And if you can't, maybe they don't post anything on social media where you can't find them, then comment on something that the company's done. Maybe they donated something to charity, or maybe just really liked some piece of content that they posted. Just taking notice to those things.
Yeah.
Then I'll usually go into I guess telling them why. I just quickly tell them, hey, I'm Jeremy Hammer, I'm motocross racer from Western Australia. I guess tell them that I have opportunities available for sponsorship that I feel could benefit them, and I'll give them like a glimpse of what's in it for them.
Yeah.
But also reference that all the details are in the proposal that I'm sending with them as well.
Yeah.
So that way it's you're not trying to hide the fact that you're coming in for sponsorship, if you know what I mean, and you're just upfront about it. But then you're still including that there's a lot in it for them. And then usually I'll follow that up by like what the main value offer is. So I'll just be like, oh yeah, we've got some stuff, it could be social media posts, it could be attendances at functions and that. And then one thing I've been trying to push lately is people to host workshops. Yeah. So at stores, where they can engage with their customers and
like bring their bike in or go and talk to people about racing or something.
Yeah. Like set up a workshop on how to set your bike up for sand, or how to or the protective gear you need to start racing motocross or something like that. So usually I'll try and put that in there afterwards, so that really gets them interested, and like that's like, and I guess the way that I sort of do that, I kind of like lost my train of thought here.
That's all right. So the way that you add value, so you've got like a rough template that you use. Yeah. I guess it's not.
So
it's more of a framework then. It's a framework, and then you're changing each part of the. You're making sure the story's going in the right order, but you're changing the story for each person.
And then.
Yeah. So I guess the main thing for you, so you've got a framework there is the most important thing. And then you're filling that information in. So you've got a bit of, I guess it's a bit like building a movie. It's like a movie has the start, it's got you get to know the characters, there's a big problem that happens, they overcome the problem at the end, and then it's the ending. Like the story is always the same when you got, like the framework of a movie is the same, but the movie's never the same. You've got different characters, you have different people in there, different scripts, and ultimately that's, I guess, what you're able to help people with is you've got the framework, and then you're helping them to fill out that framework as well. And to build on that is the framework or the proposal, I guess, the goal of that is not to get sponsorship with the proposal. The goal is to get the meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the ultimate goal. The proposal isn't about, hey, I want a brand new bike and I need new gear and all that sort of stuff. The proposal is about, hey, I just need to get in there and have a meeting with you. I need to have a chat to you, see you face to face. You need to meet me. You need to see how I present myself. You need to see what I've done. You need to see how I carry myself. All of the other things that you wouldn't normally pick up on a phone call.
And also just adding on that, in the proposal, like, when I say that I put in what I want, I don't put in, I want 10 grand, I want a new bike. I put in, I want a financial sponsorship, or I want a cost-reducing sponsorship, some free product or a discount. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want out of this.
Yeah.
As well, not so much. This is the detailed list of all the things I need.
Right, yeah.
which leads me to
which I have
that experience as well, and that wasn't even in a. Yeah, tell the story.
All right, so I had one person that was doing a big desert race in Australia, and I think this was a few years back anyway. So. And I got this email that came through that said, hey, I'm doing this big desert race. I've never done this desert race before. It's the first time I've done it. I'm looking for sponsorship and support. Here's a whole shopping list of things that I would like fuel tank, plastics, new tires, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just looking at this email going like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm a human being like everyone else. Like, I got bills to pay. Like, I've got a business to run. Like, Telstra wants their money every month. Like, same as everyone else. What makes you think that I've just got a whole stash of cash out the back that I'll just hand out to random strangers just because you've woken up one morning, decided you want to go ride your motorbike? And the funny thing is with that, with a lot of these messages or I wouldn't even call proposals, more messages, people reaching out, is I go and stalk the person. I go on their Instagram, I go on their Facebook, I look at any previous contacts we've had if that's been over email, and I have a look at what you're up to. So if you're trying to get money out of me, and I don't even know you, yet you're posting up about how you went for a cruise on the weekend, or you've taken your new boat out, or you just got a brand new car, or you've got a second bike when your first bike was fine, or you've got a fifth helmet for the year, then I'm kind of going, well, like, why, like, people treat other people's money as if it's not as important as their own money. They treat their money more importantly than someone else's. They expect that, this another company's got money and they're just rolling in shit tons of money and they're handing it out left, right and center, so I'll put my hand out and grab some as well. Rather than going, you know what? This person's worked for their money as well. They've put a lot of time and effort into get to where they are. They've got bills to pay. They've got a family to look after, got a mortgage to pay, house to pay off, whatever it is. How can I add more value and help them and get financial support that way rather than just wanting a handout?
Yeah. See, that was earlier as well. In one of your early experiences, you mentioned some people want quantity over quality, and I think that's this is going to tie into one of your experiences as well. Is that not every sponsor is right for you? Even if there is an offer there, they might not fit your values and what you want to do. And I think you had an experience where I guess your brand was sort of misrepresented in terms of I guess what your values are as a business. Yeah.
So for us, obviously, it's we help racers get race ready. We're doing the fitness. We're doing the nutrition. So for us to be able to support someone, you have to represent like we talked about before. You're representing my brand. All the hard work, effort, sweat and tears and blood and money and everything that I've poured into getting to where I am today, you're representing that. If I'm sponsoring someone, you are a representation of that work that I've put in. So if I'm supporting you and you're throwing our logo around or a name or supporting us or encouraging people to come and work with me, that's all well and great and I appreciate that. But at the same time, if you're not living up to the values that I've built into this company and that I represent and that I live by, then that's going to be a problem. So just as an example, if a nutrition company sponsors you, right, and they're giving you diet plans and they're doing blood tests with you every week and they're getting your food sorted and helping you with your macros and all of the other stuff and getting your race day nutrition sorted, that's cool, right? If you're promoting their stuff on social media and going, hey, this brand's the best, their nutrition's awesome, their race day nutrition's wicked, awesome. However, if you do that, but then on race day, you're there eating a chocolate cake, or you went and brought a 4-pack of muffins from Woolworths on the way there, or you're getting Macca's on the way to the track, and then you're either number one, doing that, or number two, actually promoting that you're doing that, posting it on Instagram, putting it on social media, walking around at the track with the hash browns in your hand, then you're not representing the values of the nutrition company. You're working against it. So people can see straight through that. People aren't dumb. Like, people go, okay, well, he's promoting me to do this nutrition plan and to go and see this company, but then he's eating hash browns from Macca's for breakfast. Like, it's not congruent. People can see through that. And I think that's one of the big things is, especially with a lot of the professional races, is they're at that stage where the sponsorship is not about what product is best. It's about, okay, I've only got a limited window of opportunity here to make good money from what I'm doing, which is fair enough. You take the opportunities that you have. For example, like Red Bull, right? Most of those riders and races that are sponsored by Red Bull, probably not drinking Red Bull, right? But yet they promote it, yet they have the cans in their sponsorship. They've got it all over their helmet, obviously because they're getting paid a shit ton of money to be able to promote it. But people can see straight, I feel a lot of people can see straight through that. Some people can, some people can't. Some people go, oh, he's having Red Bull, I'll have a Red Bull too. But you have to be congruent with what you're promoting. And that's one of the big things for me is, like, now that I've been coaching for a while, I have quite a big audience or people that I've worked with, and other people want to tap into that. So we get like supplement companies that come to me that want me to promote my products to our riders and racers. And they say, yep, we can do it for this price and you can get this much of a cut and you can earn this much money from it. But they also don't understand that money is not the main motivator for me. Actually, helping people is the motivator for me. So rather than just giving me a price list of how much your stuff's going to cost and how much money I can make by recommending it to a whole bunch of people, that's not what drives me. What would be valuable for me was send me a whole bunch of your product. I'll test it out with my own training. If I love it and it's as good as you say it is, then I'll buy a whole heap of it and then I can start to sell it and recommend it to other people once I've had that experience, because that's the motivator for me. But yeah, you have to, again, it comes back to value. You have to understand what's valuable for the person. Me sending out random coupon codes for shitty products to a whole bunch of people that I've helped over the years is not I don't find valuable. It's not enjoyable. Even if I did make extra money from it, it's not going to make me happy anyway. So it's not something that I want to do. I want to help people. I'm happy to make money and help people. I'm not happy to make money and not help people. That's a problem.
Yeah, definitely. And you sort of building on that as well. Like, if a company isn't right for you and they've offered you something, and this is going to build onto another story of yours. Yeah, if it's not right for you, is that don't burn your bridge with that company because down the track, the industry is pretty small, so you never know when that company might be valuable to yourself or might align with what you're doing. But yeah, tell me that story of I guess sort of a burnt bridge when you were trying to offer some support, and I guess they you tell the story really.
Yeah, so I had one person that was probably a little bit on the side, was too young for the type of work that we did, like with coaching and helping them. And the person wanted support or sponsorship or help. And I said, it's not something we can do at the moment because, number one, you're too young. It's just not, we work with seniors. But riders, that majority of the time is riders and racers that have been, that are in seniors, that are older, been riding for a bit. And so the particular rider we had a conversation on, I think it was on Facebook, we're going backwards and forwards about what we do and how we help, and I was just asking questions because I wanted to find out if we could help or not. And then after we'd gone backwards and forwards and I said, hey, we're probably not going to be able to help at the moment, we have to wait a few years, the person on the other end goes, oh, well, that was a waste of time. Like, as if like they've just wasted a whole heap of time speaking to me because they didn't get anything out of me. And so that bridge is automatically burnt. I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, I've helped you. I've been going backwards and forwards. I'm just letting you know that I can't help you at the moment. It doesn't stop you coming back in a couple of years' time. It doesn't stop me, like, if I know someone else that might be able to help later on that I could potentially refer. I mean, there's no guarantees of that, but I'm open for that. Now I'm completely closed off. It's like, I don't want anything to do with this person. No way, I'm not going to help them at all.
And I always encourage people to try again with it. Like, so this is sort of going off that, like, if a sponsor does reject you, doesn't mean that it's game over with them, because things change. Maybe their budget opens up. Maybe a rider they're sponsoring pulls out, or they've done something dumb, so they've dropped them, and there's an opportunity there. So I always recommend that people still try and stay in contact with sponsors who have maybe knocked them back, every couple of months, and just let them know what they're doing, and even just seeing if there's any opportunities to work together as well.
Yeah, I think we're brought up in an environment, like especially with, I talk about this a lot with our races, is we're brought up in an environment where highest scores win. So it's like you go to school, the smart kids, the ones that done well, 80, 90, 100% on their tests. The ones that are considered dumb, not educated, need extra help, they're the ones that are 50%, right? That was me, like roughly C for most stuff, 50%, right? Only just scraping through. And so we're ranked, we're told from a very young age as we go through school that the more you get right, the better you are. The more you get wrong, the less of a person you are, okay? Or the less educated you are, the less smart you are, the less capable you are. When it comes to the real world, that's not true. So, and I'll get a little bit off topic here and then I'll swing it back.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure where that was going.
All right, cool. So I'll bring it back. So when I first came out of school, my goal was to be an accountant. I wanted to get a job in an accounting firm so I could put into practice all the stuff I was learning in uni. No relationship with anyone that was an accountant. No idea how to link up. Didn't have any known relationships. So I was like, all right, how am I going to make this work? Got an accountant directory off the internet for Western Australia. It gives you all the accountants that you can possibly find, all the registered accountants and accounting firms that there are in Western Australia. Narrowed down that list to the ones that were close. Like I wasn't going to go up to bloody Broome to do some work experience. So narrowed it down to the ones in Perth. Got this list, did similar approach to what you're talking about with a framework. Had a framework, had a rough template of what I wanted, and offered to work for free at an accounting firm, letting them know that I want to learn, I want to get better, happy to work for free and not get paid at all. Just want to learn and get better. That was my proposal, my irresistible offer. Sent that to absolutely every accounting firm on that directory. Did it take a lot of time? Yes, it did. Did it take a lot of effort? Yes, I did. Yes, it did. Majority of them didn't even respond. Didn't even get back to my email and give me the time of day. Cool, I don't care. There was about 5 people that did respond. Out of 4 of those, they were like, no, we're not interested. No, we don't need an extra person. No, we don't have anything at the moment. Cool. I just had one that said, yes, come on Monday.
Did you go on Monday?
Went on Monday, worked at the accounting firm. That was my foot in the door to working in an accounting firm. And so to bring that back to sponsorship, I might have sent out 100 emails. Only one was successful. But only that one that was successful was the only one that I needed. Same with sponsorship. You could go and knock on 100 doors. You're not going to get 100 sponsorships. Maybe even half of them might knock you back. It doesn't matter how many people knock you back. It's how many people you have success with and how many you move forward. So even if you knock on 100 doors or send out 100 proposals and you only get one that's successful, happy days, you just won. But I think we're brought up with the school system is that you need to bloody be winning all the time, and that comes down to participation awards, and that's probably a whole nother podcast that we could cover.
I'm sure maybe you can start your own podcast. And I guess to taper things off here, I guess what do you think it would take for you to have a positive experience with sponsorship and sponsoring somebody?
Interesting. So I guess for someone to come to me, it's about caring about what I do. Like, because that's why I'm not an accountant, because I didn't like accounting. I just did it because that's what I thought I needed to do. That was the path that I was on. The reason I coach is because I love and enjoy coaching. For someone to have support from me, they need to love and care coaching, not as much as me, because that means they'd be doing it as well, but have that same passion and enthusiasm for wanting to improve and wanting to help people. Not doing it because they're trying to make money out of it or trying to see how they can get it to benefit them. It's doing it because they genuinely care and want to be able to help people. So what that might look like is it might be them referring their friends to me to be able to get help. It might even be them tagging their friends on a Facebook post and going, hey, like Andrew knows his shit, watch this post and it's going to help you out. Like for me, that's valuable. That's something that I want to be able to support them more because they're going out of their way saying, hey, I truly believe Andrew's cause and what he's working towards and genuinely believe that in their heart. Not just do it because they're getting something out of it or because they have to or because that's what we agreed on. That's genuinely, they feel the same way that I do. They feel that what we're doing is the right thing and it's helping people to move forward. So, and I guess the way into that is maybe you've done my program. Maybe you've invested in my program, and maybe that shows me that you're committed, because a lot of people come to me and they want free shit. They want free programs and free training and free nutrition and free everything. They don't want to invest any money. If you've invested money with me already, it shows me that you genuinely care. If you say that all this stuff's important, but you don't actually put your money where your mouth is, like you go and buy alcohol on the weekends, or you'll go and spend your money on buying a new set of wheels when you didn't really need them, or getting another set of gear when your old gear's fine, then your priorities are out of whack. Well, again, it comes back to congruence. You're not being congruent with the brand that you're trying to represent.
And also just adding to that as well is like, it's not always going to be the case where you've use someone's product or service, when you approach them for sponsorship. They're not always going to be people that you've been using for years. But it does help, though, to have a bit of brand loyalty sometimes, and almost gives you a little bit of leverage as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think the main thing is not so much about, so for me, it's not so much about the coaching, it's just about the caring. It's about caring about what I care about. You don't have to be doing all of the training and the exercise or want to be sponsored with fitness. It's the caring. And I was thinking of examples today. There's a kebab shop down the road. This is going to be story's a little bit off topic, but I'll bring
some pretty wild analogies.
I do. So there's a kebab shop down the road that I've been to quite a bit over the year, especially when I was living in this area. Used to go there quite a bit. And so there was this owner there before, or the guy that used to work there. And so most people go into kebab shop, they order their kebab, they sit in the little waiting room on the tables there as you're doing a normal kebab shop, go on their phone and scroll through social media. Instead of me just going there and scrolling through social media every time I went to this kebab shop, I would ask the bloke behind the counter how he's going. So I'd be sitting there and he'd be making the kebab, and I'd say, "Oh, have you been busy today?" And he'd go, "Oh yeah, it's been okay." I'll be, "Oh, okay, cool." I was like, "Well, what's happening what are you up to this weekend? Like, outside of work, what do you get up to?" And they look at you and kind of go, "What do you mean, what am I up to this weekend? Like, I've never had anyone come into this kebab shop and care about anything else but getting their kebab and whinge about the chips being cold or the kebab not being ready on time." And so I started a conversation with him. He was talking about, he was overweight, and so we started talking about training. It just happened to be, we just talked about training. He goes, "Oh, I'm actually trying to do this new diet thing, been training and doing all that sort of stuff." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I was like, "Yeah, but I'm having trouble with this and having trouble with that." So I was like, "Oh, well, I'm a personal trainer." I was like, "Here's some stuff that might help out." So I sent him just some free content that I had on Facebook at the time to be able to help him out. And so every time I went in the kebab shop, he'd be like, "Oh, hey, how's your training going?" And I'd be like, "Oh, how's your training going?" And we just talk about random stuff when we were in there that had nothing to do with kebabs. And so what happened over time is we built a relationship, right? That's ultimately what we built. And so it started getting to the point where every time I went into this kebab shop, he'd be giving me free shit. And so like they have the baklava, like little pastry things they have in the box, and they sell them for $5 or $10. I had them in the fridge there, and I'd always seen it. I've never eaten one before. And so he goes, "Oh, do you like these baklava things?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know, I've never had one." He goes, "Oh, here, I just put a box in for you." So he gave me a box of these baklava things with my kebab for free. It's $5 or $10 investment. And so every time I was going in there, he had these Turkish delights before that. Every time I was going in there, he was giving me things with it, just simply because we were good friends and we were just having a chat. Well, it's not a long story short. Then that owner left and we had a new owner. And so, same thing. Had the new owner come in. I said, "Oh, how you going?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, good." And I said, "Oh, the old owners before, I've been coming here for ages. Now you're taking over the shop. How's it going?" "Oh, yeah, it's good. It's been a bit slow, a bit this, bit that." "Oh, okay, cool. Awesome." Started building a relationship with him. And so was going there for ages and moved out of the area, but I still go back there when I'm around this area. And so it might be like 6 months between visits that I go and see this bloke. And I was down there the other week ordering kebabs, and I ordered all over the phone and go there, and he's excited to see me. He's like, "Hey," like he remembers me because we had good conversations. And so he adds it all up, and I was getting kebabs for the whole family. It was like $60 or something. And he adds it all up, $60, and he goes, "No, I'll do it for $55 for you." Gives me the $5 off for absolutely doing nothing, right? And so I've had a lot of these experiences. There's another one that I had at a coffee shop. There's a coffee shop that I used to go to all the time. And so instead of sitting there waiting for my coffee and being on my phone like most people do, I'd start talking to the person behind the counter. "Oh, has it been busy today?" "Well, it's been quiet today." "Cool, well, what's happening this weekend?" And so the coffee shop I used to go to, I literally knew everyone there. And they'd be excited to see me. One of the ladies was a lady that did triathlons and traveled around the world doing triathlons and worked there part-time because she was like semi-retired. There was another lady there that was getting married and she was going to wedding expos. There was another lady there that lived on the opposite street from me. Like literally lived across the road, same style of house, just across the road. And so I learned all these things about these people. And so one of the ladies once just had a passing comment, was like, oh, you've been coming here enough, you should leave a review on our site. I was, oh, yep. And so most people wouldn't do that. Like most people, like I know even for my business, people say they'll leave a review and they might be happy with what they've done, but people just get busy. They forget about it. It's important for me, not important for them. And so I actually went and left a review and did it. And so I rock up the next day and she gives me a free coffee. Got a free coffee, right? So all of those, the reason I share those experiences is I didn't go into those situations wanting to get a free coffee, wanting to get a free kebab, wanting to get $5 off my kebab order, wanting to get the free baklava or Turkish delight. I just cared for the people that were there. It was genuine care and interest, and they saw that in me, and they wanted to support and give that same thing back. And that's the way that happens. I feel sponsorship is the same. It's like you're caring about what that person cares about, genuinely showing interest. Like I don't have to make a kebab to show interest in kebabs. I'm just showing interest in his life and the actual person behind the counter, and then that's what's resulted in things happening that wouldn't otherwise happen.
Yeah, I think the important lesson there is building relationships with people as well. You know, like if you are going to a bike shop or you're going to a suspension place a lot, and like you said, not just necessarily dropping off your stuff and see you later, going in there and picking your stuff up and, you know, actually talking to them, you know, maybe tell them what you're doing as well and basically becoming friends with them will go a long way down the track when maybe if you do want to approach them for sponsorship and also people in the industry, they move around to different jobs in the industry as well.
Yeah.
So if you've got a really good relationship with someone at one store and the next year they become the marketing manager for one of the distributors and you've got that relationship with them, well then you're well ahead of where you would have been if you didn't know that person before, you know, and you're approaching them like a cold email, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. And that person's not going to disappear. And the other great thing about that is that they will then help you to build relationships with other people. You just need to go deep with a small amount of people. Like if you really get to know the guy at your bike shop, not just, oh, hey, how you going? Or what new bikes have you got in? Or where are me parts? You told me they were going to be here last Monday and it's Friday now and they still haven't arrived. Like the usual bullshit that they probably deal with all day. Actually care for them. Like don't worry about how your shit's late. Go in there and say, oh, hey, how are you going? How's the kids? Or what are you up to this weekend? Or where are you going riding? Like show interest in them. Then you're building a relationship with them. So when opportunities come around for you to get a bike discount or they can flick the code at like when they're putting it on and like I know when I worked at Mitre 10, you could, if I wanted to discount the price for you, I could put it through on a trade and I was allowed to do that. I could give you trade price if I wanted to. So like if someone's regularly coming in and you've got a relationship with them, there's certain things that people can do that they're more likely to do if you've got a good relationship with them. If you just come in and whinge about how shit the service is and how your parts haven't got here on time, like and all of that sort of stuff, then they're probably not going to want to help you. When that option comes for the checkout and they've got the option there to give you that little 10% discount or throw in a Turkish delight for you or give you $5 off your next order, they're not even going to think twice about it. They're not going to give it to you at all. You're dreaming.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when I used to work at a motorcycle dealership as well. There was, you know, people that would come through that were so nice to me, and I had the same thing. I had the ability to, you know, maybe make it 10% off or whatever, which I didn't have to do, but just because they were super nice to me, it was just something that I felt compelled to do, really. But if they're an asshole, you know, or they're just your regular everyday person, then I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Basically.
And I've got another example. It's not moto related, but when I was in America, I was doing a course in America at the start of this year. I was on my way home. I was super sick, really didn't want to be there, but I was getting my breakfast at this hotel that I really didn't want to be at, ready to go home. And so the lady came around to collect my dishes. And I said, oh, thank you, you're a legend. And I always do, I don't know why, I call people a legend a lot. I don't know why. But I always say thank you when people come in, if I go to a restaurant or a cafe and people come and get the dishes, because I feel that when people go into restaurants, it's like, almost like everyone else is beneath them, like when they're they're sitting at the table eating food. And so I always like to acknowledge the people that come around and say thank you for coming and picking up the dishes and taking them away. And I said, oh, thank you, you're a legend. And she looked at me and like laughed and smiled. And you can see like it made her day, it made her happy. And so she came around at the end to collect up some more dishes on my cup, and she gave me the receipt, because in America you have to tip and they give you the receipt at the end. And she came around to give me the receipt, and I checked it, and I ordered an iced coffee for breakfast, and they didn't put it on the receipt. And so I said to the lady, I said, here's my card, but I'm just letting you know that I had an iced coffee and there's no iced coffee on the receipt, so add it on so I can pay for the iced coffee. And she looks at it and then smiles at me, and then she goes, no, it's okay, you have a good day. And so I didn't have to pay for the iced coffee. Little things like that. Like if I'd been an ass, like and just not said anything or just kept eating my food or stuck on my phone while she'd come picked up the dishes, like the chances of those little things happening wouldn't have happened. And I think to bring that back to like a bike shop, it's the same thing. Like you're dealing with a person, they're a human being, right? If there's things going wrong at the business, likely it's not that person that you're talking to's fault. So don't talk to them like they're the problem, because it's probably higher up. That the people that you aren't even dealing with or can't see, they're probably the problem, not the people that are on the front line.
And it's just those little gestures sometimes that they just go such a long way. Like people remember that sort of stuff. You know, if you keep coming into the store and you're always really thankful and you know nothing is a fuss, because sometimes parts get held up. You know, and like you said, it's not that person's fault. They're just working there.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, they can't control how quickly a part comes over, and like I said, just those little gestures, and you never know that when you want to get some help from the store, maybe that person is puts in a good reference for you to the boss that he comes here all the time, he spends so much money, he's a legend, we should really help him out.
Yeah.
You know? It's little things like that that you sometimes just have to think of.
That's right. And I think like another example is like at a restaurant. I don't know, I've got lots of food examples, but
You like going out and eating.
yeah, I do like going out and eating. Probably too much. Not so much now with COVID and all that. No. So I'll have to get back into that when everything opens up. But like at a restaurant, like sometimes you go to a restaurant, like I've been to a restaurant where they bring out the wrong food, right? Or the stuff's cold. And so I know that the person that's bringing me the food did not cook the food. They're the person just bringing the food out for me. I know it's not their fault. And even if the chef did it, it's probably not his fault either. There's probably something going on that is out of everyone's control. Instead of the meal coming out, me going, oh, excuse me, the chips and the steak are cold that you brought out, and them going, oh shit, this chips and the steak are cold. And they've got to do the walk of shame and bring the food back. And I feel like a knobhead because they feel like a knobhead, right? Take it on the chin. Like to tackle that example, instead of going, oh, it's cold, I go, I hate to be a pain in the ass, but the steak's come out a little bit cold. Would you mind if I got another one? And so I'm not attacking the person that's on the other side. I'm almost making like it's my fault. It's my fault that the steak's cold. And so a lot of people don't want to do that. Again, it comes back to, and I'm probably getting a bit off topic, but it's a whole responsibility thing. Like with sponsorship, you're responsible for the relationships that you have. It's up to you to make those. You might be dealing with someone at a bike shop and they come across as a knobhead. They're a knobhead for a reason. There's something that's happened. There's something that's happening. Maybe they're not happy with how things are going. You show a little bit of interest in what they're doing and actually genuinely care, then things will start to go your way. You'll build a really solid relationship. You'll turn that person around if no one else could.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got how long have we gone here?
Could probably go all day.
Yeah, you could probably go a day, but I think we're going to wrap things up here.
All right.
I did really like.
We'll give Joe Rogan a run for his podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anyone who listened to the first episode is probably going to enjoy your analogies again on this one.
Cool.
And if you haven't heard the first